So welcome to another video in my channel. So proceed, please read through the disclaimer. So this channel doesn't promote or encourage any illegal activities. All content provided by this channel is meant for educational purposes only. Why I'm saying this disclaimer, the reason is today I'll be showing you something very dangerous and insane, and my basic intention to share this information with you guys is to create some awareness, because most of us, we are not aware of different kind of hacking, jamming and penetration algorithms which is present in the market. So today I'll be demonstrating such an activity, and this will be purely for educational purposes, and I do not mean to hurt anybody's sentiments or do any kind of malpractices with this one, and would request you to also follow the same guidelines and play safe and just use this for experimental purposes only. So with this, let's begin. So as you can see in the picture, so it's like Wi-Fi hacked. So yes, today's video is something related to Wi-Fi, but what is it? Recent days, Wi-Fi or internet is a crazy thing that we have in the market. So our lifestyle is completely engaged with the internet, and we cannot avoid it at all. So for that, generally we use internet at our home in different modes. If you talk about the Wi-Fi, if you talk about the 4G SIM cards, so there are different mechanisms using which we access internet. So out of those mechanisms, today in this new generation, we are more inclined towards the Wi-Fi. The reason is it is a completely wireless signal. It gives us more bandwidth, it gives us more speed, as well as it is flexible and cheaper in cost in terms of the data rates. So that's the reason we use Wi-Fi. Have you ever thought of can Wi-Fi be hacked? Yeah, Wi-Fi can be hacked. But in this video, I'm not going to tell you how to hack a Wi-Fi. But in this video, it is something very insane. Irrespective if you do not have a password for the Wi-Fi, or if you do not have any credentials for the router as well, still you can create some amount of damage and can do malpractices. So in today's video, I'll demonstrate that. So before we proceed, so let me first clear out one point. Is Wi-Fi hacking means there is a Wi-Fi credential or the router which is emitting the Wi-Fi. So to connect to a Wi-Fi, you need a password. So if anybody gets hold of the password, that's called Wi-Fi hacking. What happens if anyone doesn't have that password? Definitely the person cannot connect to the Wi-Fi, but still I want to do some kind of a malpractice, or still I want to jam the device or some kind of do disruptions, etc. So for that purpose also, it is not a hacking, but it's called jamming. So I mean to say I need to jam a Wi-Fi. That for example, if the Wi-Fi is emitted by a router, multiple devices are connected, and I do not have a good intention, I want to get all those devices disconnected blindly. I do not want to allow anybody use internet. So if that is the case, then how do I do it? Before that, we need to understand what are the different kind of Wi-Fi attacks we can do. So I'll show you some images and I'll demonstrate different types of Wi-Fi attacks. An attacker is something just like an evil. So the attacker sits between the client and the host. For example, my router is there and my mobile is there. Both are connected, and the attacker will sit in between both of them. And just because it is a Wi-Fi signal, so it is completely invisible. You do not know from where the attacker is operating. It can be your neighbor, it can be your flatmate, it can be somebody living nearby you. So that's the reason. So it is very critical and very tough to understand who is doing that attack. The first thing that we need to understand what is an de-authentication attack is. So as per the Wi-Fi mechanism or the protocol, what we do is my mobile, whenever I enter the password and click enter for the Wi-Fi, it creates a packet. So that information is sent to the router for verification. Once the router verifies the information properly, then the router automatically sees okay, this person has entered the credentials correctly. I should allow that person to connect to the router. So not the person but the device to connect to the router, and that is how the mobile gets connected with the Wi-Fi. Similarly, if I'm talking about this iPad, so this iPad also does the same thing. When I enter the password, automatically the password is converted into a packet and that information is sent to the router. Router acknowledges the information, sees whether I have entered the password correctly or not. If yes, then automatically the router receives the packet and processes it and grants access to this iPad. Okay, you are allowed to connect to my device. As soon as the iPad connects, it is assigned with an IP address, and with that IP address you start browsing the internet. That is how this authentication mechanism works. But how an attacker stop this authentication mechanism or do any kind of a malpractice? So if we need to understand this one, this picture will help you understand that. So what happens, the client will make the request to the access point. Access point means the AP is the Wi-Fi SSID. For example, I need to connect to RWeb Technologies. So access point is RWeb Technologies. So the client requested with the password to RWeb Technologies. RWeb Technologies verified, okay, he entered the password correctly, no problem. I'll send him a response. So RWeb Technologies sent the response. What happens, automatically response came to the client, so the client got connected, and now that device has access to the internet. So this similar request and response goes on. What happens, I as an attacker, I sit in between and automatically just send an invalid request to this access point. I'll just request a deauthentication attack to the access point. What happens, like if I do this kind of attack very frequently, there is a high chance that the authentication response, that means I entered a wrong password and the router will send me the information that you have entered a wrong password, I cannot allow. This deauthentication response is so fast that it gets captured by any device. Like for example, whenever we do such kind of authentication, it takes almost around 1 to 2 seconds. But what happens if I do a programming, I entered everything in a for loop, and that for loop does things so rapidly that I am generating deauthentication requests almost around 500 in 1 second. So definitely any device will capture such kind of deauthentication request and immediately disconnect from the Wi-Fi. So that is how deauthentication attack works. So if we talk about the next attack, spoofing attack. So these are nothing but like the probes. What do you mean by probes? Like for example, user 1 is sending a request to this as SSID or like the Wi-Fi and getting authenticated. User 2 is also doing the same, sending the request and is getting authenticated. What happens, I as an attacker, I am sending too many requests to this access point. And what happens, like access point is getting busy to serve me and it is not allowing any third person to connect to it. So this is called a probe attack. That means I am probing the access point so much that it is only busy catering me. It cannot allow any other third person. There are different mechanisms in the router in which it detects, like okay, if a particular MAC ID is making too many requests, it will block the MAC ID. But surprisingly, I have written the program in such a manner that this specific device randomly generates the MAC ID and do the spoofing attacks. So that means the router doesn't have any kind of a scope to understand this attack is being made by a single device. This single device is randomly generating a MAC ID and doing the attack. So this is called a large number of spoofing or a spoofing attack, using which we create too many probes to this access point, so that access point is getting busy serving the attacker only. It is not getting time to serve any kind of a third user. Now let's go with the third type of attack that we call a beacon signal attack. What is a beacon signal attack? It is nothing but, as you can see in the image, there is a green dot. For example, let's assume RWeb Technologies, we have a Wi-Fi. This green dot is RWeb Technologies Wi-Fi, and that is a valid Wi-Fi. What happens if I create 500 similar Wi-Fi signals named RWeb Technologies and just surrounding this one? So what happens, whenever a user requests to connect to the Wi-Fi, every time it is getting connected with a malicious or a fake SSID, but it is unable to reach the actual SSID which is sitting in the center. So this is called a beacon attack. That means there is one light source that you need to look through, but I have created multiple light source. I have emitting red, green, blue lights, etc. And now the end user is confused which light should I follow. So this is called a beacon attack. So these different kind of attacks we can do on any kind of a Wi-Fi signal to prevent that Wi-Fi from working properly. So in today's video, I'll just demonstrate how we can do such kind of real attack. And throughout this video, for the experimental purpose, I will use this iPad. Reason is we all know Apple devices are manufactured with great precision. They are more accurate. They follow about different safety protocols as well as security aspects. They have their proper security mechanisms, etc. So in short, most of the media devices which are available in the market, Apple devices are considered to be the most secure. So that's the reason I'll be using this Apple iPad. So this is the Apple iPad that I have, and I'll be doing the experiment on this device. So now let me clean up the table and set up the frame for you. So first of all, I would need a power bank to power up my device. Next, this is the main device, that is an ESP3266. So this is a very tiny little board. You can do a very easy comparison, just because I have my fingers, so you see how much small in size this one is. So you can estimate how much tiny this is. So this is an ESP8266. So that is the specific number of the integrated chip that is embedded into this one. This particular chip is the flash memory on which the data can be stored. In short, this is a microcontroller, and this microcontroller is embedded with a Bluetooth as well as with Wi-Fi. So I'll just make a Wi-Fi jammer out of this one. So that means any Wi-Fi signal that is present around your surroundings can be jammed using this tiny little device. So this is a microcontroller, and I need to program it accordingly. And once I'm done with the programming, definitely you can use this device to be a jammer. Next, I need a programmer or a kind of a powering device. So using this device, I will program this ESP, and using the same device, I can power the ESP as well. So a paperboard would be needed to incline my tab so that you get a clear visibility. And I would need a mobile. Definitely, I would need the tab. So you can see what is happening when I'm doing the attack. So this is the tab that I'll be using. I'll be using this power bank. So what I'll do is I'll attach these device into this power bank. So I'll just plug this ESP in so that it gets the power, and I'll simply insert it into the power bank. So as you see, as soon as I insert, the red light is glowing, so that means the device has been properly powered up. Next is I'll be using the mobile for doing the attacks. So now we need to understand a little bit. This itself has a Wi-Fi connection. So that means this is an access point. Assume it to be a router. So I will connect this mobile with this router, because this device doesn't have different kind of buttons or two different kind of mechanisms so that I can control it. So for that, I will be using a web interface on the mobile using which I will control this device. And in return, this device will do every kind of hacking or spoofing or different kind of attacks on the Wi-Fi. So actual attack which has been done by the Wi-Fi is this device, and I am using the mobile user interface to control this device. If I go to the settings and if I go to the Wi-Fi, so I have created a specific network, that Authentication Technologies generic 4G. The reason is I have multiple devices at my home which are connected with these Wi-Fi signals. So if I start attacking these Wi-Fi signals, definitely those devices would also get impacted, which I do not want. So I have created a specific Wi-Fi signal in my router, that is Authentication Technologies generic 4G, and this Wi-Fi we will be using for this experiment. So now let me connect to this Wi-Fi. So I have entered the password. Now I'll click on join. So you see, now I'm connected to Authentication Technologies generic 4G. So this is working properly. So now let me do some kind of tests, and let me go to YouTube. I'll just play a video so that you get an idea this is properly connected to the Wi-Fi and it is having proper internet access. So very simple, I'll go to the library, I'll go to my videos. So this is a video that I have. So let me play this one. So I'll show you how to make professional So as you see, like the video is working properly. So if I just forward it, so definitely it is working properly, and this is intended. So now once this is working, now let me go back to the Chrome. So in this Chrome, what I'll do is like this is a tool using which we can do a speed test. Why I use this tool is, you see the test time over here. So generally I have a control with me that I can increase the test time. So in this case I will be using 120 seconds. So let's click on 120 seconds. During that experiment I will attack the Wi-Fi in which this one is connected into, and you will see how this iPad responds. So you see the Wi-Fi is already connected over here, that you can see this one. If I just show you, you see it is connected to Arrow Technologies generic 4G. Okay, now let me go back. I'll first connect with this Wi-Fi. So I have named this Wi-Fi to be Wi-Fi Jammer, Arwave Wi-Fi Jammer. So let me first turn on the Wi-Fi. I'll go to the Wi-Fi settings. You see there will be a Arwave Jammer. So this is Arwave Wi-Fi Jammer. If I click on this one, so now see I am connected with this Arwave Wi-Fi Jammer. It says me like Arwave Wi-Fi Jammer doesn't have any kind of internet connection. So what I'll do is like I'll allow, saying okay, now I do not need any kind of internet connection, because I'll just use the interface of the web page which is hosted inside this particular device. So I'll just click on no thanks, and now this device is connected with Arwave Technologies Jammer. So you see if I just click on this one, it is connected to Arwave Wi-Fi Jammer. So I open Google Chrome. Now I'll just type in the IP address for this device, that is 192.168.4.1, and hit on enter. So I'll just click on agree. When I press the scan button, so automatically it will scan for all the Wi-Fi which is present nearby and would show in this particular UI. So once I click on scan, you see all the Wi-Fi that is present over here, it has detected, and now it is present in the screen. So I need to select a Wi-Fi for the attack. So what I'll do, I'll select this Arrow Technologies generic 4G that I told you. The reason is like I do not want my other Wi-Fi devices which are connected with the internet to get disrupted. So for that I selected this device. Next I'll go on the attack. So in this attack, as I clearly told you, like there are 3 different types of attacks which can be done on the Wi-Fi: the deauthentication, the beacon, and the probe request. Like for the beacon, so the beacon attack means like I'll be emitting multiple Wi-Fi signals instead of one. So that means the one Wi-Fi signal, that is Arrow Technologies generic 4G. So I'll be emitting similar signal in multiple, so that this device gets confused with which Wi-Fi signal I should connect. So for that, what I simply need to do, YouTube, it will be 40, and then I'll click on add. So I have the YouTube SSIDs. I'll click on save, and then again I'll start the beacon attack. And now the YouTube Wi-Fi will appear here. You see the YouTube Wi-Fi appeared here. So now the iPad cannot decide like with which is the genuine SSID and which one is the fake SSID. So this is how you can attack the Wi-Fi nearby. So this is called the beacon attack. So now we will experiment the most dangerous attack, that is the deauthentication attack. So for which I have set it to 120 seconds. I'll just turn on the speed test. My device is already connected with the Arrow Technologies 4G generic. So what happens? Let's see. So let me start the speed test. As you see, like the Mbps has started increasing. So it is doing the data packet transfer over the internet, and the Wi-Fi is connected. You just keep an eye on this one and on this one. And now I have already selected Arrow Technologies generic 4G, and I'll begin the attack. As soon as I attack it, automatically this Wi-Fi gets disconnected, and definitely the speed which is appearing over here turns to 0 because no Wi-Fi is connected. Just let's see. As soon as I click on start, you see the Mbps stopped, and the Wi-Fi got disconnected immediately. If I just again click on stop, again it would connect back and it would be solved. You see, I stopped it, the Wi-Fi got connected, and again the experiment began. So this is how I'm not allowing this iPad to connect to the Wi-Fi SSID. So this is the de-authentication attack, and it is the most dangerous attack. And this device is so much generic in nature. Is like for example, if I go to this access point and I can select multiple SSIDs. For example, I need to attack the Cosmos as well, I can select this one as well. If I want to attack Geo Fiber Loser as well, I can select this one as well. So once I'm done with this one, just go to the attacks. You see these 3 SSIDs will be attacked simultaneously. If I again click on start, you see these 2 are already attacked and this one is also getting attacked, and the Wi-Fi will get disconnected. You see, Wi-Fi got disconnected and the speed is not there. So this is how things are working. So I just demonstrated you the beacon attack and the de-authentication attack, and the probe requests are also same, but the probe request I cannot demonstrate you. The reason is like the probe request is completely invisible. In the backend, it will probe the requests between this iPad and the router. So in no mechanism I can show you that kind of attack. But yeah, for the probe request attack, these things will turn out to be similar. So with this, you got an idea like how dangerous this device is. You should not use it for any kind of malpractices. So I did a simple search in Google to figure out like how much does this Wi-Fi jammers cost. So like as you see, like the 8 antenna Wi-Fi jammer is something around 18,000. So these are the mobile phone signal jammers. So something around 1,83,000, 30,000. So in short, like these are very costly devices. So as you can see, like in Quartz components, the ESP8266 or the 01 Wi-Fi transceiver module, that is available only for 93 bucks only. So that is a very cheap price. And if I talk about the programmer, that is also available on the Quartz components, and that price is around 96 rupees. So altogether within 200 rupees you can create such an insane device. The specific reason behind this is like to showcase like how much cheap these days these electronic components are, and like how this can be used for different kind of malpractices and for attacks. And definitely if you do not have any kind of knowledge about these devices, then definitely it becomes difficult for the person to understand such kind of attacks. So be aware and do like such kind of videos, do explore such kind of different mechanisms and protocols available in the market, so that you do not become a culprit of such kind of attacks. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you liked it. Bye bye.